He's just winding everyone up by being here.
I mean, I think it's important to show that the European Liberal and Democrats support Vince Cable, support the Lib Dems in this difficult fight in Britain in these European elections. And secondly, we want to show here, by coming here, a message to the continent, to say, never repeat Brexit again. We in the Parliament, the European Parliament, that also in Belgium, are the most pro-European list and political force, and we want to show that we have to stop nationalism and populism the fastest as possible, because otherwise that could be the end of a fantastic project, a project of peace, a project of common understanding, and a project also, because that's important to tell you, but you know that better than I, in the world of tomorrow it will be necessary to work together. I'm here this time not as the EU Brexit coordinator for the European Parliament. I'm here as the leader of the Liberal and Democrats for Europe, in Europe, and also the head of the list in Belgium. And we thought, where can we better present our program than here, in London?
That was Guy Verhofstadt speaking yesterday about how we should get behind Vince Cable in the European elections. Now, we shouldn't even be voting in the European elections. We should have left 2 months ago. But here we are, beginning of May, with our voting cards on the mantelpiece waiting for the 23rd to come around. Now, we all need to get out and vote, and not vote for any party that is for overturning the once-in-a-generation democratic vote. That's really important. Anyway, I digress. The reason why Verhofstadt doesn't want any other country to leave the European Union is because it would ruin his plans for Europe. I already spoke about this in the white paper. You really should read it. It's an eye-opener. Now, according to the Eurobarometer this week, apparently 1 in 3 of us don't plan on voting. Now, this is the only thing I agree with Verhofstadt on. We should all go out and vote. But he is expecting people to vote for the anti-populist and anti-nationalist parties, which I don't think will happen. I think Farage will do really well, and it'll be a very big eye-opener. That he makes a sentence. I mean, you only saw a small clip, but there is another sentence. He says, although most of us take democracy for granted, it is increasingly under threat, both in principle and practice. Now, how ironic is that? By trying to overturn our vote, that is anti-democratic. You know, there's no way you can call that democracy. I'm completely baffled. If you watch my first video about Brexit, you'll remember that I talked about the report by the Democracy Standards Board. There were 3 case studies, and the verdict was that the EU falls way below the acceptable standards for democracy. Now, that's shocking, I think. So how we can say that they are democratic in the European Union, I'll never know. Anyway, Guy Verhofstadt continues by saying that the right-wing parties are only trying to drive a wedge between Europeans. He thinks they're pitching Europeans against Europeans. But the truth is that he knows, I think, that Farage will do really well in the elections. And this will make things much more difficult for the EU chiefs to reverse our vote. Now, thank goodness for Matteo Salvini, Marine Le Pen, Austria's Freedom Party. Like our 17.4 million people who voted to leave, they can see that the EU is going down the road of a federal Europe. Verhofstadt said himself during a moment of outrage that he wants a federal Europe. Watch this clip.
The European Union is in fact not a real union. It is a loose confederation of nations based on the unanimous consent of each of its member states. If one of them blocks, nothing happens. Moreover, every member state can pick and choose its policies. The euro, Europol, Schengen. It's like it will be possible in the United States that California uses another currency than the dollar, or that Florida refuses to participate in the FBI. Will that work? That's certainly not. Well, in Europe neither. An endless list of opt-ins, opt-outs, rebates, other exceptions has created an enormous confusion and complexity. A Europe à la carte. And the result is an ineffective union, no longer capable to find solutions for the challenges we face. As Britain has now decided to leave the Union, well, it's time to get rid of this bureaucratic and complex system. My proposal is to radically simplify, to reduce the dozens of opt-ins, opt-outs and exceptions in one clear choice: membership or an associated status.
Well, that was a surprise, wasn't it? I thought we weren't going to lose our opt-outs or have to join the euro. We've been told loads of times by Remainers that it was just a myth, but clearly it wasn't. We've been lied to lots of times. We were told that the European army was just a dangerous fantasy, when last time I showed you the videos of Macron and Merkel saying that that was the plan. We've been lied to that we weren't going to have to take the euro, but as we've just seen, we aren't going to have our opt-outs anymore, so we will have to take the euro and be part of Schengen. They also lied to us about a federal Europe. Of course that's not the plan, we were told, but listen to Verhofstadt saying just the opposite of
problem, colleagues. Why there is such a problem in this crisis? Because member states are reluctant to transfer new sovereignty and powers to the European Union, and we all know that the only way out of this crisis is a new transfer of powers to the European Union and to the European institutions.